Live from Austin, Texas, with host Rosie Newberry. Local trends, shopping, and more. This is Studio 512.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for Studio 512. It's a story you've probably heard of, a fun one by Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. We've got Charlene Hong White and Scott Shipman joining us today, who are two of the leads that we're going to hear from in this excellent show. And we're happy to have them in the studio. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Scott, starting with you. I told you I'm embarrassed to say it. I have to put my hand up so many times here on Studio 512 and say, actually, I've never seen that show before. I've certainly heard of it. And there was a movie that came out just a couple years ago with an excellent cast, I know. So Murder on the Orient Express is a story people know of. Yeah. But if you wouldn't mind, for those living under a rock like me, give us just kind of an overview of it.
Yeah, of course. It's one of Agatha Christie's most famous murder mysteries, a closed room mystery, which means that it all takes place in a confined space with a number of suspects. It takes place on a train, the Orient Express. As it's traveling from Istanbul to Paris, a murder happens one night, and the famous detective, Hercule Poirot, is on board and has to solve it while they are stuck in a snowdrift. So it's one of those large cast, so many suspects, who did it? It could be anyone. That's the fun of it.
I love it, and it's all happening in just one little place, so you know that, like, the murderer has to be aboard.
Tension ratchets up and stuff, yeah.
Okay, all right, interesting. Charlene, let's talk about, the similarities or differences that we might expect here in this local production versus what we've seen maybe on the Hollywood screen or in a different adaptation.
For sure. Agatha Christie, she's all over the place. There's so many different adaptations that you can see, whether it's on the BBC in movie form, or all of these various wonderful productions of it. Ken Ludwig, the playwright whose adaptation we're doing in at the ZAC, he did a really smart thing, which was actually condense the number of characters from 12 in the original novel to a smaller number. I'm not gonna say how many, but to a smaller number for just viability of being in regional theaters and making sure that we can afford to have the entire story represented as best as we can. But also, he then kind of streamlined some of the clues, the red herrings that can come about as a result of the very careful splicing that he put, and I think the production is better for it in many ways.
Well, I was going to say I'm horrible at guessing at the whodunits, so I appreciate that he's taken a couple of characters out, and that means that we can flesh some more characters out as well, right? You get more of their story. Yes. Okay, that's pretty cool. Scott, let's talk about your roles.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So I get to actually play multiple roles in this one. As I said, it's a murder mystery, which implies there is a murder victim, and that's me. But then I also get to be one of the suspects, so at some points I'm looking down on my own corpse on stage, which is a very surreal experience. But yeah, it's super fun that I get to play both a bad guy and the other people that are on board. It's a wild ride for me.
And the other person that you play is a colonel, is it not?
It is.
Do you have any kind of military thought that you bring to this character?
Well, that's one thing that I discussed with the director, Jenny, about how we want to approach him, because it was important to me that he also is likable and not just ramrod straight the whole time, because our characters have a relationship, and making sure that that reads in a way that makes sense. So there is that used to being obeyed, gets a little bit out of sorts when he's not obeyed sort of thing, and that throws him off kilter, which is fun to play with.
And I'm seeing big nods over here
for sure.
from you, Charlene. Let's talk about Mary, who is your character.
Yes, Mary is an English governess, and she's an anxious woman, but she's also very strong. And I think one thing that draws me to her is that she's always trying to do what's right. And I think that I was raised on the BBC as well, so playing an English lady is always something that I love to do, and so it feels very natural in many ways. But it's just fun to see. It's like, is she the one? Did she do it? I don't know. You'll have to see.
And, well, if you describe her character the way you did to me, she wants to do the right thing. Ooh, that would be interesting if she turned out to be the murderer. But also a very handy person to have if you're trying to solve something. I have to ask, since you grew up on the BBC, all of that stuff, like, we kind of joke about English accents around in the office. How did you approach her accent? Because there are so many to choose from, really.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have a wonderful dialect coach, KXAN, and she's wonderful, wonderful resource. She worked with all of us in the cast because there are so many different dialects that are being used in the show. Some much less familiar to our ears than an English accent, which there are so many, as you said, there's so many different varieties of English accents. So with Mary, we specifically chose an RP, or kind of like the Queen's English, if you will, and trying to lean into the 1930s of kind of just, she's very proper, not necessarily super high class, but she's proper.
Gotcha. As a governess, she would be. She's educated. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And then I want to ask Charlene, do you have a favorite moment in the show, even if it's not one you're in?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think that I always love it when all the pieces get put together at the very end. I do think that there is something really satisfying about having an answer. And especially after you've been taking on a ride. A ride. Sorry, we love it. The puns are very strong with this cast.
And easy to stumble upon.
Very, very, absolutely. But after the train starts, everything is in your face the whole time, and you're like, is this important? Is this not important? Who is it? Who could it possibly be? And I think, to me, putting it all together at the end and that satisfaction of a day's job well done is always really great for me. And also, we all get to be a part of that scene because it's the whole ensemble, and there's something beautiful about all of us getting to be together.
Yeah, and you've worked so hard. It kind of is this nice closure moment, which I think is really cool. And then, Scott, what about you? A scene you're in or a scene you're not?
Well, kind of both. So one thing that I love is writing scenery, and the set for this show is one of the most gorgeous that I've ever seen. And like the train rotates as it goes from car to car, and we get to like walk through it as it's happening. It's this really cool effect. So I love that. But also Ken Ludwig, who is the author who writes farces and things like that. So surprisingly enough, Murder on the Orient Express, this version of it has a good amount of humor in it, which I very much enjoy listening to the audience reactions to Poirot. And there's a character called Monsieur Bouc, who is Poirot's friend, who is adored by the audience. So hearing that and how that goes directly from laughter into a super serious, like everyone's like, ha 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 ha, oh. Like, I love those moments of the show.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Okay, well, congratulations, guys, on all your hard work that you've achieved so far. And I know the appropriate thing to say is break a leg.
Thank you so much.
Of course. All right, guys, for tickets and more information on Murder on the Orient Express, very exciting, visit zactheater.org.
Hey everybody, I'm here at the Bullock, Texas State History Museum in downtown Austin, where T-Rex, the ultimate predator, is now open to the public. I'm super excited about this exhibit because it was curated by the American Museum of Natural History in New York City. Let's go learn about some dinosaurs. T-Rex, the ultimate predator. That's a pretty cool title. Tell me about the exhibit and why it's unique.
Sure. So this exhibition was created in New York at the American Museum of Natural History. This is the very first time they've only done one solely about T-Rex. So there's a lot of really great scientific information in this exhibit. There's digital interactives, there's an AR experience, there's all kinds of really cool stuff that bring it to life.
How old would you say are these artifacts?
All the fossils on display are casts. The fossils themselves date back as far as 167 million years ago. So there are fossil casts that represent finds all over the world in the show, but probably the most famous one is the one behind me here, a specimen 5027. This one was discovered in Montana in 1908. It was the first full skeleton fossil of T-Rex that was put on display in the museum. T-Rex actually evolved over 100 million years, and when you come to the show, you'll see some of those tyrannosaurs along the family tree that you may not have been familiar with before. A lot of them are smaller and different shapes than you're used to, and some of them have feathers.
Feathers?
Yeah. The first one that they discovered that had proto-feathers was 120 million years ago. They stipulate that T-Rex had feathers when it was young, and as it aged, the feathers kind of went away. We know for sure in the fossil record there were fossils, and there were also scales. So it's a little bit of
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Hybrid, interesting.
Yeah.
What interested you in curating this exhibit?
Well, so I want to give credit to the curator at AM&H, Dr. Mark Norell. He was the one that curated the show. He's a paleontologist. But here at the Bullock Museum, the curators often get the chance to be the lead content person for traveling shows when they come through. And when I heard that we were going to get this exhibit, I was thrilled. As T-Rex evolved over the years, it got bigger and bigger. So a lot of the family members that you'll see are smaller. They're still very, very large, but different than you might expect.
You know, the movies portray the T-Rex as, you know, this big, unstoppable apex predator, huge bite, you know, these tiny little arms. How much of that is accurate, movies versus how it was in real life?
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? So a lot of people think of T-Rex as just kind of a ruthless killer, you know, bloodthirsty. Some people even say evil. And all that's a little bit overblown. I think what you'll see when you come to this exhibit is that a T-Rex is a lot like most predators that are around today, right? They don't kill for fun or just because they're cruel. You know, they're trying to feed themselves and their families. The bite of a T-Rex is tremendously powerful, right? Their teeth are the size of a banana, and most of them are embedded deep in the jaw. So we know for sure that they had a powerful bite. There's almost 400,000 pounds per square inch in the T-Rex's bite. So in that case, it's even more dramatic than you would see in a movie, right?
What does being this close to the T-Rex mean for you?
Well, it's really impressive. I mean, every time you come face to face with a full-size model of a T-Rex, it takes breath away no matter how many times you do it. But really it just impresses upon me just the diversity of life on the planet, not just today, but throughout the years. And also just how much we've learned about these creatures that have been extinct for so long. The T-Rex exhibit is open until March 8th. You can come see the exhibit for free on HEB Free First Sunday, February 1st. I encourage everyone to come see it before it goes. You won't regret it.
Experience a jaw-dropping new look at the legend, T-Rex, the ultimate predator, at the Bullock Museum, now until March 8th.
Welcome back, everybody. Joe's 19th annual chili cook-off is going down this weekend, and everything you need to know is right here because we've got Jacqueline Gillis here joining us in the studio. Jacqueline, good morning.
Hi, how's it going?
All right, for those who don't know, the previous 19 years have been special, or the previous 18. Here we are on the 19th.
Yeah.
Tell us about Joe's chili cook-off.
Yeah, so we're in the 19th annual year of our chili cook-off. It takes place in the Hotel San Jose parking lot every year. We have live music, we have great drinks from Joe's and Hotel San Jose, and of course we have a chili competition with 11 teams competing this year. So you can show up and hang out and eat some chili in the sunshine.
Sounds good to me. All right, so I'm guessing that these teams have already been chosen.
Yes.
Did they have to apply to you with any type of chili? Because I know there's a real fight around here about beans or no beans.
Yes, always a fight about beans or no beans. There's no requirements except for you show up with nothing cooked so you can prep, but you get to do chili your way. But every year it's a mix of amateur chili competitors, and also we have some restaurants competing. So it's a nice mix. Everybody is in the same playing field, getting out there cooking chili for charity. For a good cause.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I have to go back to the Joe's portion of this, because when I think about Joe's, I think about a little, maybe something to eat, and definitely some great coffee. Yeah. I don't think of chili. Yeah. How did this happen?
Well, I think it's really just a community event that came together many years ago, and just it's been great for people to come together for a cause, and it's just continued now for 19 years.
19 years. Okay, next year will be a big one. Let's talk about Free Lunch, because that is the nonprofit organization that is benefiting from this chili cook-off. Tell me about that.
Free Lunch is a great organization here in Austin. It's a group of creatives that cook fresh food for the community at the Esperanza community.
That's amazing.
365 days a year, as I understand. So they raise money through events like Chili Cook-Off, but also they have a really cool monthly magazine that you can subscribe to and support what they're doing.
That is really cool. And the Esperanza community, as I understand it, is helping people kind of get out of homelessness.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. It's kind of one of those communities that's a transitional community, hoping to get people into more permanent housing.
And everybody deserves fresh, good food. So they are providing that.
That is amazing. People. Okay. Really cool stuff. Let's talk about when, where, and kind of the wristband ticket situation.
Yes. So, as I said, you can show up, hang out, listen to great live music from Jeff Hughes and the Chaparrals and Joe's House Band, and dance. But if you want some chili, you purchase a ticket. It's $25. You can purchase it at either one of the bars, and that gets you a taste of chili from all of the teams at the competition. So all of that, all the proceeds for those tickets go right to Free Lunch as well.
That's excellent. And so what I'm hearing you say is that you can just waltz up. You don't have to have purchased these tickets in advance or anything like that.
Exactly. You just walk in, and we even we're having a line dancing lesson from Erica Nix happening. Move
Fun.
Texas is getting out there and signing up people to vote if you haven't voted yet. It's just a great community event. Show up with whoever and have a good time.
Okay, super fun opportunity to hang out. Okay, I want to ask a little bit about the contestants. You did say restaurants, amateurs. If you know anything about the people who are playing along this year, I'd like to hear about it. And then how winners are chosen, because that's the bragging rights, right? Yeah. That's the cool part.
Well, we have our winner's circle of first, second, and crowd favorite. They're all returning. So Blame the Dog, Popes of Chilitown, and Clay Pigeon. They all were in that winner's circle. But we also have Little Darlin competing, that bar in South Austin. So it's a fun mix. But everybody is out there starting at 7 a.m. cooking, and doors open at 12 p.m.
Okay, so they have 5 hours to get an excellent chili going.
Yes.
And actually, when you consider that is not a ton of time to build flavor. So you have to be pretty smart.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's not like, you can't be stirring it for 2 days at a time, like really building depth of flavor. You have to get out there and know what you're doing.
Yeah, have a plan, I guess.
Have a plan.
But,
okay.
Winners are chosen. We have a judges panel led by Matthew Odom, the food writer for Austin American Statesman. But we also have some really amazing chefs like Amanda Turner from Olame, Aaron Franklin Barbecue, Fermin Nunez from Este Suerte, Sarah McIntosh from Epicerie. It's just a great.
I was going to say, these are well-known chefs.
Yeah, but it's a good time. So it's fun to have them involved in judging chili.
And so the people who are tasting the chili, we're just tasting it just to try it, and we're waiting to see what the judges say.
Yes.
Or do we get an opportunity?
Well, so the judges, they decide first and second place, but there's crowd favorite. So take your chili ticket, put it in the bucket, and vote for your favorite chili of the day.
I have judged a chili cook-off for Texas Humane Heroes just in the last couple of months. We had 22, 23 types of chili.
Wow.
It is a little bit overwhelming. What I would suggest to everybody who's walking around is like, do the little bites first, if I can give anyone a tip, and then go back to some of those that you felt like were your favorite, and that way you can give your coin or ticket.
That's such a good tip.
Yeah, because otherwise you're going to get to like chili number 7 and you're going to be like, I can't do anymore. So something to keep in mind, but it sounds like a lot of fun, and I love that there's live music and dancing. Anything else that viewers can expect while they're there?
Well, we have great cocktails from Hotel San Jose setting up in the parking lot, and Joe's as well. And like I said, line dancing, two-stepping, and yeah, just some good hangs.
It sounds like a great time. Okay, I can't wait to see who wins.
I know. See if it's a returning victor this year.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure to keep the throne. Okay, exciting stuff.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. For more information, visit hotelsanjose.com or follow along on social media. 2 options here, at Hotel San Jose and at Joe's Coffee. Austin Opera's company premiere of Fiddler on the Roof debuts the first weekend of February. It's coming up. And joining us now are the stars of the show, Steven Skybell and Mila Daly. Y'all, good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to have you. Okay, Steven,
Yeah.
a lot of weight on you today because you're the one that we've brought in from New York back to your home state of Texas.
That is true.
So you're really our ringer. If someone's never seen Fiddler, and I was embarraed to tell you that's me,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the premise of the show.
Well, it's a very universal story. It's about a family, a husband and a wife and their 5 daughters, and they're in 1905 Russia. But it's a story about family and these 3 elder daughters and trying to get them hitched in a way. But then the musical opens up to sort of look at a whole global issue, which is the Jews of this little shtetl town eventually are forced out of their town.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm hearing heavier notes there, but
Yeah.
it also sounds like there might be a lot of joy in the production.
It is. I mean, even you, Rosie, who haven't seen Fiddler, probably know most of the music in Fiddler.
Do I?
Sunrise, Sunset, L'Chaim, Matchmaker.
Make me a match.
There you go.
Oh, I do know the music.
So it's the thing that, I mean, and of course they say since the day that Fiddler opened on Broadway in 1966, it's been done somewhere in the world every day since then.
Wow.
And that is because it is so appealing. It is great entertainment, and it also is it's a message. It has a really heartfelt, deep message along with it.
That continues to resonate with audiences decades and decades later,
Truly,
as
yeah.
we go on. My goodness. All right, so Tevye
Yeah.
is apparently the name of your character.
Yeah.
You've had the opportunity to play this role more than once, my friend.
Indeed. My first time was 17. I was 17 years old.
No, you're kidding.
At summer camp.
And you're now 18,
Yeah,
19.
no. But I played him when I was 17, then I played him when I was 21 in college, and then had a long period of time, did not play him, was always eager to play him. Eventually got cast in 2018 in the Yiddish version directed by Joel Grey that we did in New York, that then became a bit of a sensation, and we kind of have been reviving it on and off for 4 years. I'm about to revive it up in Toronto. It as well as Fiddler the Musical, really struck a chord because it was in the language that they would have spoken. But I've done it a lot, and I've played Laser Wolf on Broadway, and I love the musical, and it's one of those rare opportunities for an actor who has a role that is so meaningful. It is such for me, it's such a meaningful role that I'm just delighted to do it over and over and over again with a wonderful new cast every time.
Yeah, well, and I know that you guys are really proud of the ensemble that y'all have gotten the chance to work with.
sure.
But before we move on, does
Yeah.
it feel the same, or does every new production feel different?
Different, always different. I mean, I've done one other operatic version, which was in Chicago at the Lyric Opera of Chicago, and the opportunity to blow Fiddler up to an operatic scale with a chorus of, I don't know how many are in this.
I mean, it's a huge chorus.
Is it?
Yeah.
And
So
dancers, it's amazing.
And the scene of it, the way it's going to be on stage is unlike what you might get on Broadway, really, because the scenic and the operatic size of it is just something to behold.
Okay, so this is where the Austin Opera bit comes in.
Yeah.
And I know we've featured Austin Opera here on the show before, and they were very forward about saying, like, we are big on musicals because there isn't that much of a difference, really, between operas and modern musicals. So, Mila, I'm going to come to you. You've been with Austin Opera several times before, and Golda is your character. Are you the wife?
I'm the wife.
You're the wife. Okay. Tell us about your
Trophy wife.
The trophy wife. Of course, she's gorgeous. And you've produced 5 girls. Good on you on this show.
Impressive work.
Tell us a little bit about your character and what makes this production different.
Well, she's a strong woman who cares about her family deeply, and she is trying to do everything she can, not having a lot of control, to keep her family safe and keep her family together, and that is her goal in every single scenario. And to do this on this grand scale with the best possible cast, the best orchestra in the pit, the best conductor, it's such a privilege because this music is music that everyone remembers, but to hear it on this grand scale and see it on the grand scale is something that will be unforgettable.
Well, it's a lot of puzzle pieces coming together, so I want to ask you about how rehearsals have been going as you guys have been kind of heading into the start of the show. How have you been feeling?
Great. And also the ice storm
Knocked us out.
for 2.5 days.
Oh no, I hope everybody was at home doing their runs and stuff like that.
Binge watching TV as well.
A little bit of both. You gotta have some rest
That's
don't you?
That's it.
I think it's kept us even more fresh. So I think we come to rehearsal with even more excitement, ready to put this show on in a week.
Okay, it's exciting. We're kind of coming down to the wire.
Yeah.
I do want to ask Stephen if you want to add anything to that about getting ready with the rehearsals.
Well, just to say the voices in this production, music is music and singing is singing, and to hear these operatic voices take on this iconic music is just such a delight and to the ear. And I've just so enjoyed hearing everyone. I'm not an opera singer, but everyone else has incredible pipes, and it just is a joy to hear. I think everyone will enjoy that.
Yeah, ear candy, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this, Stephen. What do you hope the audience takes away from this show?
Well, I'll tell you, growing up in Texas, when the movie came out in 1972, I saw this film and I thought, well, Tevye's like my grandfather. He came to he's going to America. My grandfather came to America, so Tevye, you're going to have a grandson like me, and you're going to be, it's a win-win. But then, of course, as one gets older, one realizes these people are being forced from their home. And so the musical, sadly, is as relevant today as it was when it was written, and in some ways more relevant, because I've said to people, growing up in West Texas, I never personally felt anti-Semitism my entire growing up. And obviously now there is more of that sort of intolerant feeling towards others in the world. And so Fiddler, as well as being incredible entertainment, heart-filled entertainment, it does carry a message that is saying, let's look at our world and see how we can maybe do a little better with those we think are different. And I find that very meaningful and moving to be a part of that story.
And so topical, as you say. All right, guys, I'm going to say break a leg. I know you've been working hard. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Thank you, Rosie.
Of course. All right, guys, you want to see this? It's running for 4 days only. So for tickets and more information on Austin Opera's production of Fiddler on the Roof, visit austinopera.org. Welcome back, everybody. We cover a lot of different facets of lifestyle here on Studio 512, but it's been a while since we've had a hair expert in the room. Kothia Wolf, owner of the Studio GTX, joins us with fellow stylist Vanessa Grant and model Maisie Dalton to show us some good tips for perfect beachy waves. We're excited to be talking hair today. Good morning, Q.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
You reached out to me, and I'm so glad you did, because Georgetown is popping. It
Yes.
continues to grow. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the Studio GTX and what it is y'all offer?
So at the studio, we are a completely booth rent salon, so everyone is independent. And there, our motto is practicing the art of hair. So the theory behind that is that we're not just hairdressers, we're artists, we're curating an environment, an experience, a place for connection, a place for community. And I really feel like Georgetown was a special place to do this because community is the heartbeat of Georgetown. So we've been really privileged to be set up in a really close to downtown Georgetown. We're probably a block off the historic square.
Oh, lovely.
And so we've been able to collaborate with a lot of local businesses and other hairdressers and really create a space, hence the name The Studio, where all forms of art are practiced, not just hair.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of clients do you serve, may I ask?
So at our salon, we do haircuts for men, women, children, but specifically we do a lot of color. We work with a lot of textured hair, hair extensions. So pretty much anything you can think of, someone at our salon can offer. You can learn more about everyone's history and what they offer on our website.
Lovely. Well, the three of you walked in and I was literally blown away like a Beyonce music video by how gorgeous everybody's hair is. And we've got our beautiful hair model, Maisie, over here. And so you said that what you hear a lot is that people are asking for how to do the perfect beachy wave.
Yes.
So we're going to have Vanessa start demonstrating first with a curling iron how she gets this beachy wave, because there are a couple different ways to achieve this.
There are. So many of my clients, when they're at the salon, we do their blowout, we curl their hair. They're like, how do I do this at home? But it is a little tricky to sit there and show everyone one by one. So we're going to take this opportunity to hopefully show you how to nail it at home. We're going to do one side with a flat iron and one side with a curling iron. So what Vanessa's doing right now is she's prepping the hair with a heat protectant. So basically this will just create a barrier between your hair and the hot tool. But prior to this, make sure your hair is clean and totally dry. That's probably like the number one thing that we kind of run into is people don't dry their hair all the way. It's a little damp, and then it won't hold it.
Damage
Yeah,
too.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that she's kind of letting the barrel of the curling iron, first of all, go away from her face.
Yes.
But second of all, kind of lightly twisting it away.
Yeah, so she is using a Sutra curling iron. Actually, both hot tools are Sutra. They're my favorite.
I've never heard of them.
They're the bomb.
Okay.
You have to try it.
Sutra. Here we go.
And she's taking the curling iron and turning it away from the face, and the amount of hair that she put in the tool is approximately like the thickness of the diameter of the tool. If it's anything greater than that, it'll end up a softer wave, and smaller than that, it'll end up a little bit more of a ringlet.
Okay, so if it's a 1 inch barrel,
Right.
about 1 inch worth of hair.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, that's helpful. Well, she's making such quick work of it. This is not what it looks like when I'm doing my hair.
I know.
In the morning. So important to have that heat protected.
Yes.
And as she's going around, is there anything that she does to change her methodology that we should be aware of?
So something that she's doing is not starting on the ends. So that's a big user error. People often want to kind of start at the ends and roll up, but that does create a lot more damage on the end because the heat will be applied there too long.
Not only that, but then it looks like an old-timey curl.
Right.
Like when we
So
used to
more
curl
of a modern beach wave.
the bottom of our hair.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she's starting kind of midway through.
Okay.
And by doing that, it creates a softer, kind of more modern, bouncy beach wave type of look, and it keeps the integrity of those ends.
I had not thought about how we were damaging our ends because it's
Yeah.
so simple for those of us who were doing curling irons
Sure.
or like curling tools.
I was guilty too.
Exactly. And you would roll it up to your head, but now we're starting from, it looks like a couple inches down from the crown of her head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Midway through. And then another important thing to note is she isn't brushing that curl out right away. She's leaving the curl intact. So that's really important to let the curl cool prior to messing with it, prior to putting any more product in it, prior to running a comb through it. That just helps the style set.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Once you finish this last curl here, Vanessa, I'm going to have you go ahead and move on to the straightener, because I think a lot of people hear the word straightener or flat
Sure.
iron, they think to themselves, well, all it does is straighten.
Sure.
But you can get a good curl out of that as well.
Absolutely. So it really is user preference. I will say the curling iron does tend to kind of lean itself toward longer styles or extensions, but the flat iron is amazing for bangs, for quick touch up. I mean, really for any length hair, but overall they do create a little bit of a different look. So with the curling iron, it is a little softer, it is a little more beachy. The curling iron will not be as tight as the flat iron might, just because of the way that the heat's distributed.
And this also looks like a 1-inch iron to
Yes,
me. Yeah.
so they're the same diameter. So she's taking that same thickness of hair also away from the face.
Away from the face.
Yeah.
Whoa, you can see the difference immediately.
Yeah. No, and it's great. I mean, both styles will hold up for sure, but everyone kind of has their favorite. And when you're doing your hair yourself at home, it really does come down to what tool you're the most comfortable using. But more than anything, you want to make sure that that heat is distributed all the way down in the same way.
And so she's going to do the same thing here. She's going to let these curls rest,
Yes.
cool down before
Exactly.
she does maybe some finishing products in there.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of products, can we just touch real quickly on some of the things you suggest for people to get this look?
For sure, heat protectant. Most of them will protect your hair up to 450, some a little more, some a little less, depends on the brand. There's different styles. So this one is a Moroccan oil aerosol heat protectant. You can apply that on wet or dry hair. This one's an Olaplex oil, but it also provides a barrier with the heat. So this one I would probably gear more toward freshly washed hair prior to drying it. But
Gotcha.
if
And
you-
then a hairspray to finish things
just
off?
a hairspray, a light hairspray.
All right. I'm still using like Aquanet or something.
I mean, if it works, it works. But this is Biolage. It's
Biolage.
smells a little better, a little healthier on the hair, not as much of like a drying type of formula.
Okay, I need to talk to you about
yeah.
what
We'll link
products
up.
to
We'll
get.
link up.
All right, you have such great expertise. Vanessa, thank you so much. And Maisie, what a beautiful model. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Guys, book an appointment now with any of the stylists available at thestudiogtx.com. We have a lot of fun here on Studio 512. If you missed any of our great segments, be sure to check out our website where we like to post the fun things we do. Our feed covers content like arts and entertainment, food and drink, fashion and beauty, home and garden, stuff for kids and pets, as well as information from area experts. In addition, you can check out web-exclusive content that you can only find on Studio512TV.com. We also love to post behind-the-scenes funny moments, outfit inspirations, and more on social media. Find us by searching for Studio 512 on your favorite platform. You don't want to miss a single post. Be sure to follow us, check out our website, and watch us every weekday at 11 a.m. right here on CW Austin.